Good evening. I'd like to welcome everybody to the June 6th Planning Commission meeting. First thing we'll do is stand and say the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, let's have a roll call.
Tolan,
Yep.
Morissette,
Here.
Moody,
Here.
Reese,
Here.
Van Galen is absent and excused, and Stiesel.
Here.
Thank you.
Okay, next we have the approval of the minutes from the May 2nd planning meeting.
I move approval.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, before I go to public comments, I just want anybody that's here for the neighborhood for DeSanctis Park, just to kind of let you guys know, some of you might not have been here at the council meeting, just to kind of go over the same thing that we have no plans as of now. There's nothing on any agendas, there's nothing on any work plans or anything, just so you guys are aware of that. So we'll move on to public comments. So if anybody has anything like to say, go on up. Just, you know what to do, Patricia, just sign your name. Let us know who you are. Oh, yes. And one more thing before you start, Patricia, too. It was kind of brought to our attention at the council meeting that some people were, they thought we weren't paying attention to them or ignoring them because we didn't, after they were talking, we didn't engage with them. Because normally when we do this, the public will just come up, tell us what they're interested in or thinking about or complaining about. All we really do, whether it's here, the planning commission, or the council, is we listen. And if we have if we're not sure about something, we'll ask a clarifying question. Otherwise, we don't go back and forth with you, just so nobody gets their feelings
And
hurt.
thank you for that. We did meet afterwards, and we explained to the people
Okay.
that the fact that it isn't on any agenda,
Right.
the fact that it isn't something the city right now is working on, which is why it's only a public comment.
Yep.
And when it is on the agenda, we would, if it's ever on the
Yes.
agenda, we would be able to. So I thank you for that clarification. And I also want you to know that it's by design that a lot of people aren't here today. We explained to them, your time is valuable. We just want to be heard, that this is a concern of ours. And so therefore, 30 people didn't show up. They were willing to, but we're like, a couple of us will show up to make sure that they know that we're keeping on top of this.
Yep.
So,
Perfect.
my name is Patricia LaRue, and I live at 49 Marcella Court. I have come here to speak for the families whose homes share a border with DeSanctis Park. I'm not going to go into the history of DeSanctis Park and feel it suffice to say that DeSanctis Park is a 23-acre park on the west side of town. It's been a park for more than 20 years and is a lovely place to live. Directly south of DeSanctis Park is a strip of property. I'm told it measures 800 feet by 200 feet wide, is about 6 acres, and runs adjacent to Division Street. In the 1990s, the owners of this property intended to develop this strip of land into several residential homes. They were able to build 3 homes, but then an ordinance change prohibited any new driveways backing onto or off of Division Street. That left the property owners, Pete and Sue DeSanctis, without Division Street access for the future properties they wanted to develop. 20 years ago, this area around the park was all agricultural. But in the last 20 years, the city has grown to the point where now this 6 acres of undeveloped property is somewhat of an island. It's understandable that the city would like to see this 6 acres developed. However, without access to Division Street, it's financially prohibitive for the DeSanctises to put in an 800-foot road to service their development. A few months ago, the city came up with an idea to swap the 6 acres owned by the DeSanctises for 6 acres of parkland. Someone looked at a map and noticed that an open alcove of land on the east side of the park, approximately 6 acres also, was available. The staff floated the idea of swapping 6 acres of this park alcove land for the DeSanctises' 6 acres of development land. This concept created 16 new lots in that 6 acres of land in the alcove area. By strictly looking at a map, it was an attractive solution. Now, earlier I emailed a packet of information to each of you for whom I had an address. The first map in the packet is how the area looks today. At the bottom of the map, you see 14 dots lining this parameter of this alcove. But those aren't just dots. Each of those pieces are our property. There are homes. Each dot represents a family who, when it came to making the single most expensive investment of their life, chose to purchase that piece of property on that park. The proposed new development isn't just one additional layer of housing. The plan creates new lots 5 deep, right now we're on the park, we would be a full city block now off of the park with the new development in the property of that's in the concept plan. It also lands right on top of a sledding hill. So before you could even do that, you would have to level this sledding hill. We know the city relies on revenues to function, and a large extent, I assume, that the revenues come from property taxes. Property taxes on 16 residential lots is more than on 6 acres of agricultural land. We agree that Pete and Sue DeSanctis have every right to develop their land. We don't agree that the DeSanctis' 6 acres of land is undevelopable. It's prohibitively expensive for the DeSanctis' to finance on their own, but the city has on plenty of occasion financially helped industry and other projects when those projects directly benefit the city in the long run. This is one of those instances. By focusing on developing the DeSanctis' strip of land, the city would avoid the cost of land swaps and survey maps, appraisals, avoid the loss of a sledding hill, establish pathways and trees. But most importantly, by helping the DeSanctis' develop their property, the city would avoid the loss of those families who feel they weren't important enough to the city for the city to work for the DeSanctis' to develop their property. This concept land swap may fall by the wayside this year and may not even be revisited for 5 or 10 years. But as far as I know, the city has not scrapped it yet. I have tried to find the words to express how strongly we oppose this plan, and everything I came up with fell short of what it actually feels like. This isn't okay. If when this matter comes before the Planning Commission, we ask that you please focus on how the city can help Pete and Sue DeSanctis develop the property they currently own and consider the effects of your actions on the families living around DeSanctis Park. Thank you.
Thank you. Does anybody else have anything they'd like to say? Otherwise, we can move on. Move on to current planning project. Number 1 is potential zoning map amendment in the vicinity of Sullivan Court. Brandy's got some stuff for us.
Sorry, I loaded this up earlier, but it looks like it went to sleep. Okay. Been reviewing our zoning map and has found a number of instances throughout the city where there are what appear to be inconsistencies with where the zoning line should lie, and some straight up just areas where the zoning would be logically shifted to a different zone. And so this area up at Sullivan Court is one of those areas. Sullivan Court is the former right-of-way for the Highway 35, and the area was previously zoned, from my understanding, as I-2, which is the dark gray. And then at the time that the DNR acquired this green parcel, which is number 4 here, this whole area was one large property. And so when it was divided up, this was inadvertently not rezoned to something other than I-2, the heavy industrial. So it's really just a right-of-way at this point of time. And then if you look up here, parcel 1, we've got kind of a mess in this area. Parcels 1, 2, and 3 have multiple zones to them. And so what we're suggesting is that parcel 1 would be recolored so that the piece of property is all I-1, which is light industrial, I believe. And the reason for that is because it's the city's transformer site, so that's an appropriate zone for that type of land use. Parcels 2, and this one that's not labeled, are appropriate for commercial development, as is demonstrated by our comprehensive plan, future land use map. And this parcel, which is not linked up to the other 2 at the moment, but if it were, it is also logically rezoned to the pink, which is the commercial. And then also, we would like to clean up the little bit of pink here that's on the DNR's property. That would be, it would become conservancy. So we have some other areas around the community that's that are requiring cleanup. So there's some non-parcel based areas, like there's green here and the pink right here. This is all interstate, right? I'm sorry, it's not interstate. It's the right-of-way for the roads. So we zone all of our right-of-way to the center line. It was a choice that we made at some point in the past, and so that's how our zoning map was created. And because it's not parcel-based, it's a little bit difficult for me to have shown you that particular piece as colored a different color. So we're focusing just on the first 4 right at this time. So what we're requesting is permission and, let's see how I phrased it exactly. We're requesting the Planning Commission to direct us as staff to take a look at these and take a closer look at these and bring them forward as an actual rezoning package. So it would come in 2 phases. It would be this first one that we've identified tonight, and then we would investigate additional ones that are similar to this in terms of cartographic errors and similar rezonings.
Anybody got any questions for Brandy?
And what I didn't mention, I've outlined a process and a brief timeline for this if you wanted me to walk through that. If we decided to move forward with it, we would initiate, so we're requesting tonight that you would initiate the map amendments. We would notify everybody within 300 feet of those parcels that are outlined in yellow by mailing. Posting would go on the street or on the site that would be visible from the street. You would review the rezoning request again at your next meeting in July, and then public hearings would be held before the City Council in August at both of their meetings.
Brandy, I have a question. Isn't Sullivan Court, I'm looking at the initial map, which you don't show up here, but isn't that basically the roadway that gets to
It is,
to
yes.
the city property?
And I do have that up here if you would like me to pull it.
So does that have any bearing on it as far as a road and access to still get back to?
Well, it's private property, so if the person that owns it wanted to sell it off for development purposes, they can do that.
So then how would you get to the city building?
To the city building? Oh, I guess I don't know.
So there are easements on that property
Okay.
for cross-access.
Okay.
Thanks.
Any other questions?
I didn't show you the after photo, so if we were to move forward as proposed, the zoning map would look like this in this vicinity.
Brandy, why wouldn't we take that green part of parcel, it's not part of parcel 4, but it's on the other side of parcel 4,
Yeah,
and make that into B3, Highway B3?
we certainly can. That would have just required somebody with GIS skills bigger than mine for this particular instance. But yes, we can definitely include that as part of the motion tonight.
I guess it doesn't really matter, it's probably lowland anyway.
Well, it's the right of way.
Yeah, on the bottom left there.
So we're asking for 2 motions. We're asking that you initiate the rezoning for these 4 parcels, and then also to send us back to bring a second package of rezoning together for you.
I'm wondering, Mr. Mayor, I know the property owners here, I'm wondering if we could ask them a question. I'm just curious as to
Yeah,
if they're,
please.
are you okay with this as property owner? Are you comfortable with this, or? Yes, sir. Okay, thank you.
Okay, so I'll entertain a motion on the first one of, okay to rezone this stuff. And the second one part, you just want a recommendation from us. We don't
Well,
have to
I
vote
think,
on
I think
that,
we need
right?
actual direction.
Yeah, but
So,
we don't have to make a motion on it, do we?
do they need to make a motion, Tony?
On the second part, we can just tell you to, yeah.
We're trying to follow the rules of the ordinance, and staff doesn't initiate rezonings. It can be done three ways, either by council, plan commission, or by petition. So we're doing is we're bringing this to you and asking you to initiate the rezoning.
Okay, I'll make a motion.
Yep,
I'll make a motion that we direct staff to initiate the new rezoning for the Sullivan Court properties as presented.
I'll second that.
any other questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And you want to make a motion to, we recommend that they look for other,
Yeah, and I make a motion that that we direct staff to continue to look for parcels that don't currently meet the proper zoning or land use and bring them to us for the same process.
Second?
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Thanks, Brandy.
Thank you.
Okay, next we'll move on to, review of the planning commission bylaws.
Good
You guys-
evening.
You guys are gonna miss all the exciting stuff.
Donnie.
It came to our attention that the Plan Commission bylaws were last looked at in 2011. So you've got a copy of the current ones in your packet. It was also in that review in 2011 where it was suggested that the Plan Commission take a look at those every 5 years. So we're about 6 years out. So we thought it was pertinent to put that back on your agenda. In addition, we've had some changes to Plan Commission membership and deadlines for application submittal, and some other minor modifications. So our thought was if you're interested in making some of those changes, you could let us know that, and we could go ahead and bring those modifications back to you for approval at the next meeting.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion on that.
I so move.
Second.
Questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, next we'll move on to, we got to reschedule the July planning commission meeting because it falls on the 4th. Unless you guys want to meet on the 4th.
You're not very patriotic. Come with,
Well,
can't we meet?
can't- So what, are we looking at the next Tuesday, or be the third Tuesday? Is that what you want to do?
We could
Or, we could do it,
We could do the 5th, depending on if folks will be available that day. Otherwise, we could go to the 3rd Tuesday, which is our standard.
Is there, I guess my question is right now, well, I guess we've got a couple items here tonight that
yeah,
we took
that
action
we
on.
got to do.
My question was workload, is there enough there that mandates that we meet? And I guess there probably is.
The Sullivan Court rezoning.
Yeah.
Well, what is the council, what do you guys think? Move to the third Tuesday, or we could do it the Wednesday, the 5th?
The third Tuesdays River Falls days week, is it not, or is that the week
No,
after?
that's the following week.
Following week, okay. So that doesn't really.
I'm not available on the 5th.
Okay,
I don't know.
if you do the third Tuesday is probably better anyways for everybody, get away from the
What's the
holiday?
date of the third
18th.
Tuesday?
18th.
Yeah, that's fine by me.
Sue?
Yes.
The third Tuesday? The 18th, July 18th? And you'll send reminders out to everybody, and, because I'll end up being the only one that shows up on the 4th.
I make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned.